Hi, everyone.
Diamonds are forever.
They are all I need to please me. We're back.
We are.
It is the end of week 1 of 007 December. Can you believe it?
Yeah. End of week 1 and the end of an era.
The end of an era.
That was so genuine.
I just love Sean Connery so much. This is Diamonds Are Forever. There's a bunch of diamond smuggling, and they're in Vegas.
Yeah. They really, like, the whole introductory sequence of this film makes such a big deal out of, like, Sean Connery being back, because he's, like... It's interesting how they pick up on... Because he's going down and just mercilessly hunting down Spectre and Blofeld, and that's, like, a direct pickup from, like, when his wife died at the end of the last movie. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they, like have his face hidden the whole time, and then he steps into frame and it's Sean Connery, and they're like, hey, Sean Connery again.
Also, I will say, this is something I forgot to talk about last time, but it's interesting to me. I just need to say it. Moneypenny and James Bond, or Sean Connery. See, I just think he's James Bond. Moneypenny and Sean Connery have the best chemistry, of all of the actors that I've seen with that actress who plays Moneypenny.
Yeah. Although, like,
OTP.
Yeah. Although, like, imagine, like, from her perspective, like, you work with this guy for, like, ever, and then all of a sudden there's just a different guy in the same role.
It's like... Well, I don't think it's on the actress who plays Moneypenny.
I'm just imagining her experience is interesting.
That must be... Yeah, that was a lot. But, yeah, so... Diamonds Are Forever. Blofeld... This is when it goes into the plastic surgery thing, right? Right at the beginning?
Oh, yeah, because they have, like, he shows up and Blofeld's like, I changed my face again.
He's like, haha, I changed it. What are you going to do?
I'm not bald this time.
I'm not bald. Isn't he just back to who he was originally, too?
No, he's a different...
Oh, he's a different actor.
He's had 3 actors in 3 movies.
Okay, and they've all had facial reconstruction surgery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, also, like... I don't, I love Sean Connery, but for some reason he seems to have aged so much in between, like, this and the last time we saw him.
How dare you? Sean Connery is a treasure.
Like, he still looks good and all, but, like, he has visibly aged, and it weirds me out, because, like, I'm used to young Sean Connery, and I'm used to old Sean Connery, but something about the, like, transitional phase between the two, my brain hasn't wrapped itself around yet.
I love Sean Connery so much. He's my favorite Bond, and nobody can ever fight me on that. But yeah, so I will say it's a little bit this film is interesting because in the canon of, you know, it's 70s now and Bond trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more silly than any of the other ones.
Yeah,
it has this very silly, slapsticky kind of quality. Like, I think about the end sequence where, like, the Bond girl literally has, like, a fucking thing in her ass, like, and they're all like, haha, butt jokes.
Yeah, there is a lot of, like, weird physical comedy peppered throughout this.
Yeah, and it's something that, like, I didn't get before that.
Yeah, well, it's, who is the writer on this? Because I want to say, Tom Mankiewicz was one of the 2 people who worked on the screenplay for this, and he would work on the screenplay for, like, the next 2 Roger Moore films.
Which is crazy, because this is way better than those 2.
And I can't remember I think Guy Hamilton also directed those who directed this, so it's...
Yeah.
It's like
Connery, Guy Hamilton has been directing since Goldfinger, I think.
Okay, right? I want to say he directed Goldfinger, and then he didn't direct the intervening ones.
Weird.
And then they brought him back for this, because they were like, you know, Connery's back, we need to, like... bring back the director
but
for our most...
But even then, with, like, the silliness, I remember we were talking about it when the moon rover chase was happening, because there's a whole fucking weird moon rover chase. There's this comic book absurdity to it.
Yeah, because, like, thinking about James Bond's origins, he was always kind of like a pulp novel character before he was a film character.
Yeah.
So he's always had one foot, I think, in that kind of weird comic booky reality, and so it's interesting to see the movies, like, over time they either lean into it like this one, or they just really go hard denial.
Yeah, and then there are a couple little weird things that I noticed, like, first of all, there is the two villains who are homosexually coded.
Yeah, those guys
which is so weird because
really fascinating.
It's like the weirdest like villain duo ever.
Yeah,
and at the same time, it has nothing to do with their homosexual coding. They're just the fucking creepiest men I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, well, they're gay coded, but they're also guys who drive around in a white van coded.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, which pairing those together is very problematic for the era.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just a thing I had to say.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is this film really, because James Bond has interacted with Americans, you know what I mean, throughout the movies.
Yeah.
But this one, especially being in Vegas, really it's just really like plants the British flag, like it is like in like British perception of Americans.
Yeah, like you have like these very like Texan people. You have these very like he lands and he's picked up by these like I don't know like wise guy mafia stereotypes.
Yeah, and then like you have Felix, who is pretty much all but useless and kind of just around.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Felix at this point is up to like 4 actors.
Yeah, that's a fucking fair point. And then, just I think the funny thing is like, in it seems like up to this point, every single like American that's been shown is like a hard Texan, and I'm from America, and I care about money. And then like all the cops they show, all the American cops are just like bumbling idiot fools.
They're like Dukes of Hazzard cops.
It's not as bad as Siri's favorite racist New Orleans cop man.
Oh, yeah.
That we'll get in the next 2 movies. But it is kind of like a prototype for that.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but yeah, so... And then also the Bond girl in this, like, I really wanted to like her, but I didn't know how to feel about her the whole time.
She's alright.
This is also kind of the first time when we're seeing with Bond women that they're kind of just like, for lack of a better term, idiots.
Yeah.
Like he takes a thing out and shoves it up her ass or whatever, and then she's like comes back and is like, I switched it back. He's like, you idiot. No, and then she's like, I don't know, she's just a little bit too much of like a she's too much of a caricature of a woman for me, because at the very least I'm probably going to talk about this more too when we get into Roger Moore era, because I think Roger Moore era makes this exponentially worse in like the Bond woman being stupid. At least with earlier Connery movies, while he did bed all the women, they were intelligent, well-rounded, feisty, will fight you women. They weren't idiots. You know what I mean?
Well, that's. I feel like the girl in this movie, she does like balance that a little bit. Like
she balances it a lot more than like live and let die in other words.
Yeah, because I mean, I do like as a woman who's an idiot but is still capable, I like seeing women who are idiots but still capable in things.
I see. Yeah, but like
because she's kind of like goofy, but she's not completely like useless.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's definitely not as bad as the 2 next Roger Moore movies we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Can you hear me rubbing my hands together out there? But yeah, and then the 2 women though that I did like, I liked Bambi and Thumper. Because we just come right back around to like Sean Connery getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, like that's. I think this was the second Bond movie I ever saw as a kid, and that stuck out in my mind. Like just the 2 women just beating the living crap out of Connery.
And then they're named after Disney characters for some reason.
Yeah. Ironically, I don't think I'd seen Bambi at that point, so that reference went over my head.
That reference was whoop. But yeah, so the other thing to talk about is that this film takes place in my favorite city of all time, Las Vegas. And
this is so in Las Vegas, guys. We can't even stress how in Las Vegas this film is. When they drive in the cars,
you see like the neon signs go by.
They drive past the Golden Nugget.
Which, like, fuck the Golden Nugget, am I right? But the thing I was frustrated about, which this was completely irrational, and this is 100% a me thing, they set, like, a huge chunk of the movie in fucking Circus, the objectively lamest casino.
We were sitting there watching it, and, like,
we might have been under like, substances.
You know, but we're sitting there watching it, and it gets to this scene, and Erynn just starts like going off, like
What was it like for you?
I don't know,
What was
like,
that?
I was just.
What did I sound like? I don't fully even remember this rant. I blacked out.
Yeah, I don't like. For the most part, it was just circus, fucking circus, and just like that sentiment kind of repeated and reworded various different ways.
Yeah, circus is lame as hell. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. Fuck, come and fight me here.
They
right
had
now.
like trapeze people above the slot machines.
Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, there's a fucking clown.
And like they had a weird kaleidoscope thing where they turned a black woman into an ape, and that was kind of problematic.
That was fucking, but I forgot about that. That was a lot. Yeah.
I feel like whoever was calling, like, there must have been like a changing of the guard between like You Only Live Twice and now, because I feel like there's a lot of like weird little touches that you didn't see until like this point.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because like I guess that's an interesting thing about this one is it's the last Connery film, but production wise, it's the same. It's the kind of established the team that would go on to work on the first few Roger Moore films. So it's like Connery in a Moore film, and it's interesting how that kind of plays, like how that works.
Which, like, I think Connery functions better in it. But also this film, it tries to, like, I think it proves the point we made last one, where, like, half the stuff George Lazenby's doing, if you were to present that to Connery's Bond, he'd be like, what? Yeah. Are you crazy? I would never.
Yeah.
But in this film, for some reason, they make Sean Connery be way more agile. Like, he's fucking climbing around on, like, all this what is it even?
Yeah, he's like climbing up a building, but I like we compared it because in On Her Majesty's Secret Service he's like stuck inside a clock, and so he like climbs up on the gears and he's doing this kind of acrobatic stuff. And then in this film, when Connery is like outside a window and he's like climbing up the side of a building, he's doing it, but he's not doing it like Lazenby did. He's doing it like I would, where he's very like careful and like searching out each little foothold before he moves on. And like,
is everything gonna be good?
Yeah, there's also I can't visualize this for this auditory medium, but there's at the end he gets in. Blofeld is going to escape on his secret like submarine thing, and he's having someone lower the crane down, and Bond knocks that guy out and takes the crane over, and he sits in the crane and he does that thing where he like holds his hand for a second, like clearly visualizing that he has no idea what he's doing in like a very overtly comedic way before kind of fumbling with it for a few minutes.
And I really love that. I love
like,
that.
That was like, and then like Tiffany, the Bond girl, like has this moment where she's like covering him with machine gun fire, and the like kickback knocks her off the side of into the water, and it just like that whole sequence just degenerates into overt physical comedy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I just love Sean Connery's Bond. I love him so much. Like, and then whenever like he's done doing all that physical stuff, he just has this look on his face of like, I need a stiff drink. And I love that. It cracks me up.
That them Shakespearean chops
somehow. Shakespearean chops, though. But yeah, so, oh my god, I'm going to talk about that for a second. So Sean Connery apparently had a lot of existential crises about the fact that he was a very serious Ibsen, Strindberg, like, Shakespearean actor, and nobody knew it because he had to play James Bond, and people only knew him from James Bond, and he felt like he could never show off his acting ability enough, and that's really sad, because I think he does a great job, and I don't think the part would have worked without that kind of acting training.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, Sean Connery, if you're out there, Shawnee boy.
What I said about you getting old, I didn't mean that. You look great.
Shawnee boy, I love. Yeah, I think he looks great, Evelyn. So you could just leave.
He's just gonna slap me.
Yeah. I'd let him slap me. I mean, full disclosure over here. I'd let Sean Connery give me a little smack.
Also, yeah, I really do like Sean Connery as James Bond. Like, I'm wisecracking, but I do like he is a very good James Bond. Yeah,
I think so too. But yeah, so this is sadly the end of an era, like Evelyn said. We're moving completely on to a new Bond with Live and Let Die Tomorrow, and yeah, so we're just gonna keep seeing a franchise trying to stay relevant we're moving into the medieval ages of the Bond franchise, and I cannot be more excited to get through that next week.
Yeah. It's interesting times.
God, yeah, okay. Well, bye, everyone!
Bye.
So we forgot. So the one final scene before we wrap up. There's this really funny, the gadgets are just getting more and more ridiculous as time goes on.
What we talked about it being very comic booky.
Which, I like it because in here it still feels like they're established. But when we move on to Roger Moore, it's just kind of because movie, there's a new gadget. You know what I mean? But this one, they have a voice box. Yeah,
they established Blofeld has been impersonating this Texan industrialist.
Which I love that archetype of Americans.
Yeah, played by Jimmy Dean, a country music artist from the time, I guess. I don't know, but Blofeld that's really all I know, and I don't know if he was that big or if he was just a guy. But Blofeld has this basically a box hooked up to his phone that makes him sound like an American Texan guy over the phone, and so Connery ends up using that against Blofeld later to intercept some information. So you have this scene where Sean Connery's talking, but they dub over this very stereotypically American guy voice, and it's one of the most uncomfortable. That might have made me more uncomfortable than You Only Live Twice. That's hyperbole, but yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. I just love how he just keeps kind of going on, and it almost feels like he's about to be James Bond. The guy with the really big dick. Yeah. James Bond, what a great guy, am I right? What a
yeah, he's aren't you worried about that James Bond character?
He's such a good spy. But yeah, it was a pretty good scene.
Yeah. And that's how we see Sean Connery off.